This is just the agenda. So we're going to go through the updates of the SNSs, the updates to the incorporated SNSs, support searches and templates. So firstly, the no changes. So there hasn't been any changes to the AF pulse rate and rhythm, AF care pathway and case finding for AF or COPD. No changes to the LTC reviews for COPD, CVD, and diabetes. And then you've got your insulin initiation, no change to that, primary prevention, CKD falling EGFR, and your SMI depots. So firstly, the LTBI. So the screening and management on positive egress is on hold until further notice. As soon as we have any confirmation regarding this, we will let the practices know. AF, so eligible for anticoagulation therapy, we have removed the ASBLED score now. It's been replaced with the ORBIT score, and this needs to be equal to or less than 4. And mental health, so patients on antipsychotic medications not on the SMI register, this indicator is now retired. There is a new indicator, and I will be going through this as we go through the presentation. The end of life. So there has been some changes to the end of life. So for those patients who are accepted that they may be at the last year of life, the following codes are required to be used for putting them on the palliative care register. So you've got your on gold standard palliative care framework codes, and then on review of the palliative care register, it's recommended to be considered removal of these. So to be removed of the register, you can use the code palliative care not clinically indicated. Once the initiation of a new urgent care plan is agreed and created, the patient's record should be coded with the new code. So there's a new code, which is Advanced Care Plan Agreed. So this code is required for payment this year. The previous used code, so has End of Life Care Plan, can still be continued to be used for clinicians to monitor urgent care plan usage, but it's no longer required for payment. And then also, if the patient declines an end-of-life care plan, then we do need you to code the end-of-life advanced care plan review declined code. These are the searches that are available. So you'll use the early identification tool to identify those patients that may need to be put onto the register. And then you can use your How Am I Doing payments. These are quarterly payment information. So this is a quarterly payment scheme now. And then in the recall searches, as you can see here, we have put some recall and support searches. So if they are currently registered end of life coded since April 23 and they're missing an end of life care plan review in this financial year, you can use this one. And then if they are currently registered end of life coded since April 25 and are not in a care home, CQC registered care home, because the new reviews exclude those patients as you're paid through their care home nil service. You can look at missing an end of life care plan been agreed, so the first one. Next slide, please. So now we're going to move on to your childhood immunisation enhanced service. So these look at children aged 1 year to 3 months and younger than 3 years to be fully vaccinated. Next slide, please. And then also looks at over 3 years, 7 months and younger than 6 years to be fully vaccinated. Next slide. So with this, it does include your exception reporting. So it looks at those patients that have declined, and there could be multiple different samples of patients that have declined. They may have done one vaccination, but not done another vaccination. So what we've done is we've actually put the declined or contraindicated codes in the sub searches. So you won't see them inside the recall searches, they will be in the sub-searches. So you can see by this example, the patient, it first looks at if they've had the vaccination, it will include them, and then after it will also look at, so if they've not had the vaccination, it will look at contraindicated or if they've declined, and it will include them in the searches. Next slide, please. It also includes if they have been contacted 3 times with no response, and if they've been newly registered in the last quarter. So these patients will be included. Just a reminder, this is not QOF, this is your enhanced service. So these exceptions are only for your enhanced service, not QOF. QOF doesn't allow any exceptions apart from contraindicated, which are quite rare, but they don't accept the decline codes. Do we have any questions?
There is one in the chat. It says LTB1, if we have already started to work on, do we get paid?
So it's currently on hold at the moment, but we will be reviewing that part with the ICB once it gets put up. I believe they're just waiting for the funding to be agreed by the NMC. Are there any other questions about these indicators?
Mia's asked if you can explain the AF again.
Mia, do you want to come on? What part of the AF?
Sorry, I just didn't. I just missed
Yeah.
it. Sorry, the whole thing.
Okay, so the only part of the AF, so most of the AF hasn't changed. The pulse rate and pulse rhythm, that's staying the same. Care pathway and the case finding. The only difference is we've removed the ASBLED now from the anticoagulation part, and it's now just the orbit score. Last year we had both in there because previous years you did use the ASBLED, but now it's been completely removed. So practices should just be using the orbit score, and that's equal to an under 4 that you would prescribe a anticoagulation. Next slide, please, Ravish.
Sorry, there's one last question. It's about the SMI reviews.
Yep.
It just says, what about SMI reviews?
So the patient patients on antipsychotic medications, that one has been retired and there is a new one. So we did remove the support search for that. So that's not going ahead this year. That has retired. And I will be going over the new indicator in this next bit of presentation. So next we're going to look at the wound care. So the wound care service to ensure that there is a 5-day wound care service for adults and children with significant appointments available across the PCN area. So the main aim is to ensure that these are clinically appropriate patients are being treated in appropriate settings. And then it allows obviously for the complex wound cares to have more appointments available there. So the PCN and practice requirement to hold 2 appointments daily. So this is in discussion with the LMC at the moment. So until we've heard back from them, we will let the practices know. At the moment, it is still in discussions about these 2 appointments. But we will give you more information once we've heard back from the ICB. So the payments are the same. It's £13.30 for a 15-minute nurse's appointment. And also this includes onward referrals to the complex wound care department. And you can also get multiple procedures in one time. So removal dressing, cleaned wound and applied new dressing. You will be paid for 3 procedures. So it's £13.13 for each procedure performed. So these are the support searches. I just want to run through these. So as you can see here, you've got number 1, number of patients with removal dressings. So this search will show you those patients that have been in there. But 1A, you would need to view the results of this report and it will look at the count. because you may see the same patient multiple times for dressings. So the payment is actually based on the count. So just to make that very clear. And also you can see the number of patients referred to complex wound care. You'll be paid for those payments as well. Regarding the 2 appointments, I think I just saw something in the chat. At the moment, you can continue having the 2 appointments if that's what you're doing, but until we've heard back from the LMC, we don't know if it's actually going to be removed. Yep, everyone will get the slides as well at the end of this session. They'll be sent out. So the new mental health indicator that's come out. So it's a part of a joint effort to improve the care for patients with mental health. So the ICB are reintroducing the support transfer of care scheme, which was previously known as your enhanced transfer of care. So this scheme is to manage those patients who are stepping down from community mental health team or secondary care into primary care. Next slide, please. So the payments for these are different to previously. So the practices will be contacted by ELF if they believe a patient in your practice is ready to step down. And if you choose to accept them onto the support transfer of care, you're eligible for these payments. So you will receive £42.50 for accepting the patient onto the support transfer of care and making 3 attempts to contact them to book an appointment. And the code has been added to the template, but it is there as well so that you can refer back to that. Next slide, please. And the next payment is to have 2 review appointments at least 30 days apart, which will entitle you to a payment of £85. These appointments are subject to what the clinician actually feels they need to go. So one could be example is going over the care plan, and then obviously then it will be down to the discretion of the clinician of which other areas that they would like to cover for these appointments. So it's not a care plan this time. You don't have to print off a care plan. It's 2 appointments with either a mental health practitioner if they've had the training or a GP. And then there are some examples in the specification which you will receive as well that you can look at. Obviously, the care plan should be reviewed so you understand. And then obviously you can look at 6 physical health checks. There's other areas, but it's down to the discretion of the clinician for that one. This is the LTC version 1 template that's now available. So you'll see here you've got your section there that says about putting the patients on support transfer of care, and these are the codes that need to be used. These are the support searches that are available. So these are your payment searches. So the top one will look at you accepting the patient, and then the bottom one will look at the 2 reviews 30 days apart for payment. Next slide, please. We have also done some recall searches. These are going out in the e-bulletin next week. So your recall searches, you can copy over version 1.1, and they are available here for this SMI as well. So if they're eligible for their first review, you've got your recall email or phone, and then if they are eligible for the second review, you've got your ACT books for your email and phones there as well. So we have put them in place for you as well. Incorporated SNSs, so diabetes, there's not been a dramatic change, it's a minor change. They've split them into 2 areas. So they're looking at primary prevention, which is type 2 diabetics, excluding those moderate and severe without CVD, with a Q risk above 10 to have BP of 140/90. So that has been changed. It used to be 140/80. It's been changed now to meet the NICE guidance. HbA1c above and equal to 58 and prescribed a statin. And then they're looking at secondary prevention, which is type 2 diabetes, age 40 to 80, excluding moderate and severe with a CVD, should have BP 140/90, HbA1c below or equal to 58 and prescribed a statin. So they've just split this one into two sections to make it easy for the practices for primary and secondary prevention. And then what we've done, if you move to the next slide, is just split the searches here for you as well. So you can see their primary prevention and secondary prevention. Are there any questions regarding these?
Sorry, Billy, just to check. So are all the templates the same? So it's all the LTC version 1 template for all of these?
Yep.
Even
so wound care is the wound care template. So any long-term conditions is the LTC template, and the wound care is wound care and intramuscular template that's now available to you.
Thank you.
Lavish,
are there any questions in the chat?
There's one about contacting the surgery by letter or phone. What if surgery don't accept the referral?
If you don't accept the referral, then you don't receive the payment for accepting that patient. The practice does have to accept the step down from ELF to receive any payments. So they won't come into your searches until you have accepted them, because the code will bring them into the first search for accepting them, and then you can do the 2 reviews. So they won't come into your searches unless they are accepted and you've coded the code used in the template.
So are they going to contact us by letters just to say that this patient is ready to step down to the surgery? And
I would have to come back to you on that one. I believe that they were going to contact the practices by phone or email, but I will just confirm that if it's just going to be emails now.
Yeah, that'll be interesting, because if they step down, I'm not sure because mental health patients are a bit tricky. So I think clinician will review that, whether they want to accept this or that patient should stay in.
Yeah, it will be for you to review, the practices to review and see if you're going to accept the step down. And as I mentioned, they don't come into the searches until you've coded that you have put the code in that is for the step down. So they'll only come into your search once you've accepted those.
Okay. I think somebody from Louise is saying this is usually emails, but
yeah, I believe it's usually emails, and if they're unable to do that, but I will confirm that just to be very clear.
if you can, please, then we have to instruct our summarizer to make sure they're not missing any kind of referrals coming from the ELF, and to code them properly.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'll double check that with them, and when we send the webinar, I will just put a little note in there just so that you are aware.
Okay, great. Thank you.
That's okay.
Billy,
any other questions?
There is one, they're asking for the specification for 25-26, and the presentation slides will be sent over.
Yeah, so the specifications you will receive from the ICB. They will come out from the ICB to yourselves.
And then someone's asked, has the achievement target changed for the incorporated diabetes statin indicators now? They have been split into 2.
The search has been split into 2, but the indicator will still be on your bands. So it will be, they will be together. It's not 2 separate payments.
And that's it. There's no more questions or hands up.
Thank you. Let's move on to the next slide. So I'm just going to run through what CUG can offer you. So this is obviously with myself, the primary care facilitator. Next slide, please. So we firstly have our drop-in sessions, which we run every 2 weeks. And on these, we go over different key discussions, sometimes demos. The practices obviously can bring any queries that they have to this session. If you're not already signed up, then please do let me know, and I can always add you to the drop-in session. And this is the next drop-in session if you're not signed up. So it'll be Friday the 25th of July at 12:30. We also offer our practice visits. So these are in person or via Teams. And then we'll go over your contracts, performance, and any queries the practices can do have. And also the practices can set the agenda. If you wish to go over anything before we attend the practice, then please do always let us know. And then we would go over your contract performance. And then we look and we do a deep dive into how your performance and activity is going. I will be sending out an email in September about practice support visits, but if you would like a practice support visit before that, please do let me know. We can start doing them as soon as possible. But there will be a general one that comes out in September as well to get your annual support visit booked in. And also one-to-one support. So I'm available to contact regarding any queries. I'm also available in person via Teams, email. Sometimes you can catch me on telephone in the office, but I would always suggest that you email me and just send the number if you wish for me to call you, and I'll call you back as soon as possible. And I'm available Monday to Friday. Does anyone have any other questions at all for us? Practices at least once a year, so please, if you're available, you can pre-book for after September if there is any annual leave, but please drop me an email and we'll get your practice in for that practice support. We always also have my colleague Mevish, who is happy to help with any APL tool queries that you may have or need extra training. We have recently brought out our new APL IMS tool version 4. So please make sure that all the practices are using this version 4 tool, and that's in line with the new changes from the 1st of July for the childhood immunisations. But if you need any training for this, then please do contact Mevish. She'll put her email address in the chat just so that you have it available if you need any further training. Well, thank you all for attending.